Well, hello, this is Madeline from Madeline's Craft Room. Tonight is Technique Night. So, if you are one of my regulars, please again feel free to be able to comment and participate with us. And if you're new to me, I'm Madeline from Madeline's Craft Room, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. And so we would love to have you join us. And we are going to actually not make a card tonight like we normally do. However, I'm going to show you lots and lots of different ways to be able to use embossing folders. So it's right in front of me here. So we've got lots of different embossing folders, and I'm going to show you a few different techniques with them, coloring them, as well as other ways to be able to use our brayer, our brand new brayer. So we are going to get started, and I should say the card, I will make them in a few into a card, and tomorrow it will be on my blog, or by tomorrow it will be on my blog, as you can see below. And then you can see how I have used these different techniques to make these card fronts and give you some ideas. And of course, I would love to see what you could create. And there's Vicky. Hello, Vicky. All right. Did you see Stampin' Up! Has brought a brayer back, new and improved? What is really nice about this new one is that, first of all, it has a stand. So before, we had to be very careful how we would put our brayer down, because then it would either ink things up or you were afraid that things would stick and get wrecked. But we don't have to worry about that, because now they have these little stands, and so you can stand it that way. So I'm going to start with a few of the very basics of how to use a brayer. Now, I'm really focusing on embossing folders for this one, as well as we have a new embossing folder that we use with the brayer. But I will do another video of other ones that you can use the brayer for. But tonight's focus is the embossing folders. So I am going to, first of all, just show you the basic of how we're going to do this. Now I'm going to pick which one. Oh, let's try the fern. That way it's something different. It's Wendy. Oh, Wendy. Yeah, you know what, Wendy, it's cold out here. We have finally got some cold wind as well. Brr. I don't like it. That's why I left Alberta. One of the reasons I left Alberta. No, thank you. Oh boy. Yes, and I hear you've been having quite the cold in the last little bit. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the embossing folder of the fern. This is a 3D one. The nice thing, and it's Yvonne. Hello. Oh, and it's Karen. You were able to get on right on. Excellent. Good for you. So glad to have you join us. So I'm going to show you a variety of different ways. What I have seen from Stampin' Up! Is they suggest that you emboss your paper and then you do, and I'm going to show you many samples of that. I did a YouTube video long time ago, and it's been very popular as people love to find ideas with the embossing folder. However, it was one of my really early ones. And yeah, I've learned a few things since then. So I've been wanting to redo some of those things. And so here's one of the ways tonight. Now, when you do this, because you've got a little holder here, just make sure that you are holding it with the holder piece up, because you don't want to have anything that by accident you go on the wrong side and you are going to damage your stamp pad. So sometimes what people like to do is the idea that you're going to go like this. That is not the way you do it. And I'm just going to show you by using some of this paper. I'm going to flip it over here for a minute. And I'm going to show you why you don't do that. Because if you go like this, can you see what happens? You only get part. So when you go to put it on your paper, you can see it's a problem. So don't do it that way. So what we need to do is we need to take and again, these guys have to be up. You're going to press down, slide, pick up, and just keep picking it up and going along the stamp pad. And now you can see we have an even flow of the ink onto the brayer. So that's what we're going to do. And what I'm going to show you two ways, but this is the one that I'm going to show you first. Now, most of the embossing folders, you want to be able to stamp it on the Stampin' Up! Logo side. There are a few that you can use the other side, and actually it has a really nice effect, and I'm going to show you that as well. So which one am I going to do tonight? Oh boy, decisions. I am going to show you the other way. So I'm going to go this way tonight. Okay, and you're just basically going up and down. And I find that sometimes I go this way, but I also like to go this way. And I wish everybody keeps saying about this glass mat. Oh, I really am bummed out that I did not get that glass mat, because I think that would have been, I'm hearing how straight the stamping is. And I wonder if that would fix that issue, because can you see I'm not getting that one spot? And I don't know if that's my desk or whoopsie. See, do not flip it, Madeline. You heard that noise? That wasn't a good sound. You got to make sure you have that thing up. See, it doesn't want to get in. Oh, there, just the angle. There we go. So what you do is you're just going to put it on like that. And again, as dark as you want. The darker you go, or the more you roll, of course, the darker it will go. And I must admit, the darker of the color you use also makes a difference. So this particular color is Blueberry Bushel. Now we can flip it, and I'm going to put my paper in, and I'm going to tell you one of the big secrets is you cannot slide this. This is really, really important. And you're going to see, a lot of it's washed off, but boy, I've been playing and my hands have been very inky. But basically you want to kind of hold it down flat on both sides. Then you're going to hold it on one side and drop it. And now very carefully lift up your fingers and go down. Okay. And now we're going to do the embossing. I'm going to use my big embossing machine over here, just because it really shakes the table. I don't mind using the little one, but the big one can be, oops, I've got one too many plates. We need plate 1 and plate 4 when we're using the cut and emboss with the 3D folders. Okay, so sliding in here. This is one of the ways. Ready? Ta-da. This is also another thing you cannot be slipping. So you got to make sure that you lift it up very carefully, because it's very easy to slide it. So there you have one image. Okay, so now, and I hope I left my wickets over here. So this brayer is so easy, as well as the embossing folders. Some people are concerned about how you clean them. I usually just take mine right to the sink, and because they're plastic and this is watercolor ink, it does not stain. It doesn't wreck your folders at all. So you just run it under your water in your kitchen sink. Very simple. And it doesn't, I can leave it now until after my Facebook Live and it will be fine. So normally I would do the same thing with this, but because I'm going to use it again and again. We are just going to give it a quick clean here with the wipes. Okay, let's see. I think that's pretty good. Get it all off of there. All right, oops. With the stand in the garbage. Okay, so I'm going to start showing, make sure I don't got any ink on my hands. I'm going to show you a few of these samples. So this one was where we colored, we used the brayer on top of the embossing folder. I'm going to close that up. I don't trust myself. So here is an example of our new one, the layered florals. So I have a different light tonight. That's why I was having some trouble before I got started. But there, I think you can see it. It's beautiful. Now, I found that what I used to do with my embossing folders is I would take the ink directly, and you can do that. You can take it and use it directly on your folder, but I must admit the brayer does make the job a lot easier. And when you are using just your pad onto the embossing folder, the 3D works the best. However, you're going to see that actually with the brayer, that the regular ones work really, really well. So here is an example that I did the brayer on the embossing folder. And it's very interesting. This is why I did lots of different samples for you to see, because it depends on the embossing folder. And there are many, many different ways. I'm just concerned that this is going to leave ink. So I'm just going to take it off for a minute. So here we have this one. I don't know if the lighting is okay on that one, but this one here is where I did it directly on the embossing. So this is where I had an embossed this with the folder, and then I took this into the ink and then onto the folder. And you can see very different. I guess it's okay. In this case, I prefer this one. What do you guys think? Will you like that one with the lotus flower? I do. Okay, I'm going to show you a different one. Oh, and actually, I'm going to show you another. So I did this one and I thought I wanted a little bit darker. And so I rolled it a few more times, but you see how then I got some ink on the white spots. So when you're doing that, it's probably better to kind of do it more lightly, because if you looked on these raised images, it didn't really do any difference. It just left smudges on there. Now this I don't mind because it's more even, and it kind of adds some detail. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it on the video, I do like how it really made some nice detail around the flowers. So that is with that embossing folder. Now, one that you're going to see, and this is why I say it worked really well. This one is not a 3D. It's our Countryside Blooms. Yeah, excuse all the ink all over. I've been playing, having fun. But yes, that one, this is when I did emboss it first, and then I took our brayer and I went over top. Isn't that gorgeous? I am very, very, very impressed with that one. How about you? And then this is when I did it on the embossing folder and then did emboss it through the machine to get the color. So which one do you like in that one? I'd be curious to know which one you like there. Now, this folder, like I say, works really well. I practiced with some, and I got to tell you, one that I found didn't work so good was the candy weave. And I will show you why. Not to say that it still wouldn't have a purpose, but here is using the brayer in the folder, and this is on the logo side. So you can see it didn't have the same hope that I was trying to get from it. And I thought, well, maybe I got to do it on the other side of the embossing folder. But that's all it did on the other side. Now, that still could be okay for a card, but it's not what I expected. So very interesting how you can get very different responses from different embossing folders. Now, what was this one? Oh, yes, this is called the Distress Tile 3D. And this is the difference. So this one, again, was on the embossing that I did. And then I decided, wonder what it would look like after doing this one if I took my brayer and I just did it on one more plain piece of paper. And look at, I actually kind of like that for a very distressed. This is definitely more bold and bright, but wouldn't that look nice on a card too? So that's another idea. You could just do it on your embossing folder, but then use the ink that you still have on there and try to do it again. Let's see, I still have a little bit of ink on my brayer. For our next project, that would not be good. So I'm getting inked all over the place here. Okay, now, like I said, I was experimenting. So I took, the next one was the Twisted Rope, and that's on the embossing. Was that on the embossing? Was that on the folder? I think that was on the emboss. No, it was on the folder. That should read the folder. So I took the embossing, the Twisted Rope, and I believe I used, yes, the logo side. And this is where then I used my brayer and I got all, oopsie, turn it over. Got to get in the habit of having those little stands. Okay. And then I just ran it through the cut and emboss machine with Early Espresso. And that's what I got. Now, this one isn't as detailed on the bottom. It must have slipped a smidge, but still, that would make a really effective card. Oh, we have Penny. There we go. Yes, you can. All you do is rinse it, or I've used the wipe to clean it. It cleans really, really easy, and it doesn't matter, as you can see, whatever color. I've used, boy, at least 10 different colors today, and it's still beautiful. So that is another idea. Now, there's one folder that we don't see so much, but it is, I believe, still available online, and that's our Leaf Fall 3D. And I wasn't sure how that one would work. I'm curious. I don't know if it's part of my preschool days when I was teaching, but I love science and I love experimenting with creative stuff. And so that's what I did with this one. I did this directly on the embossing folder on one side, and that's the response that I got from it. Now, I should say the reason why this part went darker is you can see that there's nothing here that gets embossed. So then it's very easy to get that. But you know what? I thought that still would be pretty cool. So this one, I did it actually, I embossed the paper first, and then now I took my brayer over the raised issues or the raised parts. And you can see again, so just like here where there was no embossing, it definitely went darker. But I mean, you don't have to use that part. You could still use part of your embossing folder. But again, just a different technique. All right, now we go to a mini. So I decided to try first on the brayer on the embossing folder. And I don't have, oh yes, I do. It's this embossing folder right here. Oh, we got some more color there. If you can see it. Anyway, you can see it probably better on here, but this is one of our minis. So you can see it works on those as well. And of course, this is the design that it left. It has, again, just like that last one, a little bit more blank space, but I thought that looked pretty cool too. You know what, Penny? I have not tried Versamark. Good point, because you could probably do this and then put it right into your embossing powders. Another thing I'll try. Good idea. And then for curiosity, I did do it on the flip side of the embossing folder, and you can see that didn't work so good. So you definitely don't want to use that side. In this case, you definitely want to use the logo side. So, but this is Granny Apple Green. And of course, that's the one that I did where I embossed it first with the folder, and then I took my brayer and I went like that. Now, yes, this is darker, but I don't know about you guys. Do you like that? I thought that looked pretty cool around the border of that embossing folder. So I will have all these on my blog so you can see which ones I did with the folder and which ones I didn't. But we're also going to have a little fun here now. We are going to try, get some of these off of here, something new. So Stampin' Up, you like that? This is a new product called the Hybrid Embossing Folder, and it is all these beautiful sentiments. So this is the large die that actually fits inside this embossing folder. I love Hybrid. I think they're really cool because I love embossing. Yeah, get out your, that's right. Try it out. Absolutely. But you see how it fits in there? It fits beautifully in there. And then that way you can put your paper in and you can cut and emboss it at the same time. However, I'm going to show, oh, and I should show you, these are some of the extra dies that came with it as well. Some flowers. Not sure what that is, but hearts, stars. Here, there's two of these, and even some rainbows and leaves. So that comes with these sentiments. So if we just put our paper, and I had paper here, if we just put our paper, oopsie, first of all, get it back, lock it in. If we put our paper in and ran it through our cut and emboss machine like that, then this is what you would get. And I don't know if you can see these. Can you see? Look at the detail on them. Even just because they're, thank you. We have so many beautiful, you make me happy. These are all gorgeous embossed and cut out dies. No fussy cutting around the words. It's all done for you. But this embossing folder does one additional thing. So we don't have just the hybrid, we have something else. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our folder, and which side is it? So I'm going to tell you, I goofed the first time that I did it. You like this hybrid? Yes. So the first time I did it, I actually colored with my brayer on this side. See, I'll make the mistakes for you guys. No problem at all. I'm good at that. And I thought it was really cool because then they would be, the letters would be darker. But look what the problem is. That doesn't work. That's upside down. So that's not the way you do it. So I'm going to show you the right way to do it. So where is my color? Right here. So we have Gorgeous Grape. I'm using Highland Heather paper, but I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. And like I said, we want to ink this on the Stampin' Up! Logo side. Okay, and again, remember, those up. Okay, and remember, we're not going to just go back and forth, back and forth. We're going to put down, roll, put down, roll, and just keep going like that. Okay, and you'll just keep going. And obviously, it works better if you use a lighter color paper and a darker, I'm going to do it opposite, a darker color for this part with the brayer. But basically, you are just going to go over top, don't worry about these spots because they're not even going to show. So again, just ink up and go over just like that. Because what this will do, instead of my goof, where I had nice big bold letters, this is just going to highlight the edging of these words. So sometimes you might have to, come here. You might have to get right into that corner there. It's okay if the rest of the embossing folder gets a little inked up. Oops, this is where I should have my paper. I don't. That's okay. I've got enough mess here today to clean up. What's a little bit more? And like I say, this is what I've looked like today because I've been having so much fun. Do you guys like to experiment and play? I don't. I guess that's part of being the preschool teacher too. I don't mind getting a little dirty, as long as you're having fun, especially when it's stuff that you can clean up. Okay, so we are done. Now I'm going to put that down because I don't want to wait too long. And now I'm just make this easier for you. I'll go this way. So now we're going to take our hybrid and we're going to drop it down. Try to get it as close as possible. And put your hand in the metal piece here and you'll feel that it's locked. Isn't that neat? Now it's locked. Okay, now you're going to take your paper and you're going to put your paper. And again, once you go down, don't move it around. And I just kind of like to I slid it. Let's see if it's going to work. Yeah, I think we'll still be okay. Maybe with the embossing folder or the hybrid, maybe we'll be a little safer with that one. Okay, let's try this out. So again, when you put your folder in, we always usually go the hinge side in first, but obviously we can't because the paper is longer. So we're going to put it through the machine sideways. And the reason why you do that in your cut and emboss machine is because if you don't do that, then what happens is when it, oh boy, it's tough. And it will be a little bit tough because you're going through 2 layers. Well, not 2 layers. You're going through embossing folder. Oh, you know what? This thing moved a bit. It's got the die inside of it as well. So, oops, I didn't put my plates on straight. Hang on. I'm just going to give this a quick slide this way. Okay. So because of that, you have a little bit of extra thickness. So it will be a good workout. Oh. Okay. Bring this in. All right. You want to see the magic? Here we go. Take this off. And look at what we've got. So again, I'm going to move that over there. So we got celebrate with sympathy. Like this is every kind. Get well just because. Let's put that down there. Oh, happy day. Thinking of you. Love you. Thank you. Oops. And this big hello. And you make me happy. Isn't that ever cool? So now when you look at this, let's see if I can hold it up a little closer. You can see how it just highlights. So let's look at the difference. Where's the other hello? Here's the hello. So of course, this one, of course, I did in boho blue, but still you can see the difference. So how you can use it where it's just embossed. And this one is the one where we use the color as well. What is the name? You know what? That's a good question. Thoughtful Moments. And let me show you in the catalog where it is. It's right at the very back at the catalog at a glance. And if you look right here on page 75, you will see the beautiful hybrid embossing folder. And then, whoop, And it took me a few times, I gotta admit, by the time I should have found this earlier. Sorry, brain. Um, it took me a little while to figure out what this one was really all about and find it in the catalog. There are actually two different ones. So we have Adoring Hearts, which actually has a stamp set with it. And then it has the embossing folder, and you can see all these additional pieces that can be cut out. And then this is the one that I have here. So this one is called the Adoring Hearts bundle. This is called the Thoughtful Moments Hybrid Embossing Folder. And of course, this is the brayer. So both of these is, that's not the only use for a brayer, but of course, it just makes it amazing, as you can see what we did here with these absolutely gorgeous sentiments. So, I have been having fun. So I will post not only the ideas of, so you can see which embossing folders maybe you like best and how they worked, if you have one of those. And then also I will post a card that I have made with two of these, one of these, and also with one of the card fronts. So I would love to see you try something out with your brayer and embossing folders, as we can all learn from each other. And it's always so fun to be able to see what you've got. So there you go, ladies. And I am busy getting ready, as you can kind of see in the back there, if you can. I am working, and week by week, there's more and more swaps coming in and cards that I'm making, and I'm getting ready for the catalog launch. So this is, again, one of the new products that are in our mini catalog. And so be sure to check out my blog for the virtual as well as the in-person. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that one is a free event. So would love to have you there, and thanks for joining me tonight. Bye for now.